everybody, it's Cooper here, and today I'm going to talk about my memories of Mario 64. And this is a game that I had growing up. My dad came home one day with a Nintendo 64, Mario 64, and Pilot Wings, and the system had the original box and everything. It wasn't brand new, but he traded our PlayStation 1 system to one of his coworkers for the N64. And I remember being in our front yard at the table when he brought it up out of the car, and I was so excited to play, and we took it inside, hooked it up, and I started playing Mario 64, and I was blown away. To this day, Mario 64 is my favorite game of all time, and it's just so much fun. And I remember when I got to the first time you fight Bowser, I was convinced that I was near the end of the game and I was about to beat it, and completely forgetting about the doors with the keyholes and all that kind of stuff. And I remember I had a friend who was over when I got to that point, and then they had to leave right when I got to Bowser. They had to go home, and I remember, I distinctly remember standing near the front door with the controller, with the screen set on when Bowser is talking. You have to click through, and I remember saying goodbye to them and then getting right back to playing, and thinking that I was at the end of the game, and of course I wasn't. But it's just a really vivid memory that I have of it. And shortly after then, I had the Nintendo 64 moved from the living room into my bedroom, and I continued to play it. We had other games as well, but Mario 64 is just one that you can play over and over again without it getting boring. And so that's pretty much why it's one of my favorite games, my favorite game of all time. And I used to post a lot on a forum called N64 Forever, and they had a challenge a couple of years back where the collective members of the forum were trying to beat every Nintendo 64 game within a year, I think it was. And I did Mario 64, so I timed myself playing, and I think 2 or 3 sessions I beat the game. First I beat the game in about 8 hours, getting 70 stars and then beating the final Bowser. And then I went back and I timed the rest of it, getting to 120 stars, and I think the total time was 16 hours, and that was without beating the game for at least 5 years. If I were to go back and time myself and do it again, I could probably do it in a much quicker time. But yeah, Mario 64 is just such an awesome game, and I'm sure that anyone watching the video has probably played it or at least seen some gameplay of it. If you don't have an N64 but you'd like to play the game, it's also available on the DS. It's kind of remade. There's different mechanics to it. You can play as different characters and everything. So it's not quite the same, and I think that the N64 version is the superior version. But yeah, that's it. And I think I'd like to make this kind of little series on the channel where I talk about my memories and my history with specific games and everything. And I figured Mario 64 is the perfect one to start with, since it is my favorite game, and it's one of the earlier gaming memories that I have. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.